If you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. With that being said, hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew and today we're doing another review. Today we're taking a look at the Funko Pop 70th anniversary for Godzilla 1999 or Godzilla 2000. This is going to be the third and final, for now at least, Funko Pop review that I have because I only have the three. I don't have Shin and I don't have the 10-inch version of 54. But for now, this is going to be the last one. This is going to be number 1664 of the overall Funko Pop Movies line, and it's going to be number 3 within the 70th anniversary line. Now, funny enough, I actually was looking forward to this guy probably at least the most, because it's Godzilla 2000, especially after Vinny makes his Godzilla 2000, which in my opinion is one of the coolest figures in my personal collection. The Funko version was just kind of a no-brainer. But now actually having the Funko version in hand, I can safely say that, well, you're about to hear my thoughts anyway. So let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. Starting off with the sculpt and paint, the overall base mold is kind of like a green, darker green kind of color, which is accurate to the film. And we do have the standard circular type eyes, of course, that Funkos are normally used to having, along with painted black pupils, which I'm so glad that they started painting the pupils again. And we do have individually sculpted teeth, which are really well done, and we have like a nice kind of like bony yellow paint application to them. And we do even have like some paint in the gums and the tongue, nothing on the top of the mouth, although we do get some detail, which is rather nice. And we do have some nice membranes here at the sides, which, hey, they didn't have to put those in, but they did. And honestly, like, especially for, like, the top of the head, we have, like, some spectacular molding details. Like, you can definitely see, like, all the scales and stuff that just go down the body, and then we go, like, to the sides where the scales, again, are done rather well. And they definitely capture, like, the Godzilla 2000 scales very well. And even, like, kind of going to the back of the head where they do get into the spines, they transition well enough as far as like the overall design of it goes, and I do like it a lot. Going to the stomach, we do have again some more like the signature detail. Not too much in the way of paint, kind of just the basic green color. But again, we do have some nice kind of like little scaling, and we have kind of like the little ridge that's on the middle of the chest that kind of goes downward. And for the claws, we actually have some nice positioning here going on with the claw paint pretty basically applied. It's nothing, there's no like shading or anything, but it looks fine enough. We do have some nice detailing here for the arms, which really kind of make it look very suit-like, kind of with like the folds, you know what I'm saying? Like that almost looks like an arm for a suit. Especially on this side, especially where it's like, I guess kind of like bulging out with the arm. Honestly, kind of almost looks like an infant's hand. But with that being said, but it also has like some nice kind of scaling here. It almost looks like tree bark. You know what I'm talking about? It almost has the texture of tree bark. Same thing could be said about the legs. I'd also do like the hand positioning here, how they're a bit off to the side, and like you get what I'm talking about. The feet are definitely going to be molded pretty well, and we do have some nice like molding here on the legs. This one's bent back a little bit more, and as a result, it's got like a kind of like a hunch to it. And hold on, how do I best showcase it? Yeah, you can kind of see like it has a pretty good hunch. But for the feet as well, they actually have, like, again, the 4 toes, which are painted pretty basically, sculpted really well, though. And I do like how well they do look as well. We have some, well, basic copyright info and stuff at the bottom. Kind of like that I think that's, like, for the lot of, like, the reissue and such. Going to the back, where we get to the spines, in my personal opinion, I like what they were trying to go for here with the spines. But I kind of feel like we'll compare it to the Vinimates at another time, but I definitely think that they should have went the Vinimates route and just made it like a bit more metallic, because in the film they were kind of shiny. This is just more of like a crystallized spray. But despite that little gripe, we actually do have some very well painted and sculpted spikes here. Like, this is just eye candy to me. Again, I would have kind of preferred a more metallic finish, but again, this is just beautiful. we have the spines that are molded pretty decently accurate. They're not like one to one with the film, of course, but they look really well done, especially like with the pink with the dark green kind of contrasting it. It really just looks the part, and even coming down to the tail here, where we do get more like the individually sculpted spines, like even down to the tip of the tail. This is just beautiful. I really have no complaints, even though I would have wished there was metallic paint. Again, that's more of like a nitpick and a personal preference rather than the overall execution of the quality of the fins. Like, I almost would rather forgive the fins. Oh, well, that's a bit of a problem. But I do have a bit of a gripe, and that's going to be the molding on the tail, which you can kind of see like the scaling just looks a little stretched. Almost like the tail was molded in a standard position, even though it wasn't, and just turned to the left. Turned to the left. Well, technically to the right, but you get what I'm talking about. It just kind of looks a little. I don't know how to properly say it. It looks a little warped. You get what I'm talking about? But overall, that's gonna have to wrap it up for Sculpt and Paint. I think color wise and visually speaking, the 2000 is definitely easily the best one of the bunch. Now, next up, we're going to be talking about accessories, which, no, he does not come with a beam effect. But as you probably saw in the during the review, he actually kind of almost fell on his head. He actually, I think, fell during the unboxing. I don't think, but either during the recording or after I recorded it, he fell face first on his head. At first, I thought I may have scuffed it, but no, he's totally fine. That's actually because, again, he features a base, which I don't know why Godzilla would need a base. All you just have to do is rear him up and he'll be fine. But instead, they decide to hunch him, which is going to feature one peg that goes in this foot. Pretty hard, easy. It's pretty hard to actually screw it up. And there you go. Godzilla is officially on the clear base. It's literally just a clear circle. So unless clear circles are something that trigger you, skedaddle. So now that we have pretty much the base figure out of the way, I want to bring in another figure that I need to actually ask. Does the mold of this thing look familiar to you? Yeah, this is a retooled hit ray Godzilla mold. Now, before you go, oh, great, it's just Matthew ranting about how this is another Funko figure that reuses the Monster vs. Godzilla mold. I will admit, I did kind of I gave Ultima crap for this because when it came to Ultima and Legendary Godzilla are two completely different designs, and so it's not really fitting to retool a MonsterVerse mold for Ultima. You really got to do it from the ground up. Here, even though 2000 and MonsterVerse are again different designs, I feel like they made this guy different enough to this guy. I didn't even realize that they were the same mold. What gave it really away was the mold of the feet, which you can kind of see for yourself what I mean by how they're essentially the same base mold. You can see the feet have the exact same sculpt. Let me kind of focus that in here. They're the exact same. Now, granted, the positioning of it has been changed, and especially like the arms here, they're essentially the same pose, just one's more backwards than the other. So at their cores, they are the same sculpt, just retooled significantly. So, again, does 2000 suffer from that? Not really, because they actually changed some things about it. Pose-wise, Ultima literally has the same pose as Heat Ray Godzilla. Like, I knew that this thing was a retool from day one. I didn't even notice that this thing was a retool of him. So at the very least, 2000 kind of has something that Ultima does not. And for some size comparisons, proper ones, here he is next to some other Godzilla 2000 figures that I own, with the Vinimates and the bootleg Panic and Destruction set Godzilla 2000s. And putting this guy aside, essentially speaking, you can definitely see what I'm talking about when I think that Funko would have really benefited from more like metallic finish. But as far as which one I prefer, I don't know. They're two completely different versions of Godzilla. Well, not like the same version of Godzilla, two different attacks and styles of the Big G. And for some more size comparisons, here he is next to some Godzilla 2000 figures, 6-inch versions, with the original Bandai creations and the Fusion series Bandai creations. And moving right back to the 6-inch scale with Funko Pops, here he is with this Ancient Brethren, the original 2015 Funko Pops, with the original release and the Entertainment Earth Previews exclusive glow in the dark Spitfire version. And to wrap it all up, here he is with the other two Funko Pops I have from the same line or same wave of the 70th anniversary line with Godzilla 54 and the Godzilla 84. So overall, what do I think of this figure? Honestly, the Godzilla 2000 Funko Pop is definitely, in my personal opinion, my favorite of the bunch. Not only is it just the most visually pleasing to the eyes, definitely having a more green on purple pink color scheme, which I think personally looks beautiful. And I guess it's just all down to the movie looks. I just honestly think that this is definitely the most well executed, sculpt wise, paint wise. Even has like a little accessory to it. Not that it needs it, but I think just for extra security, it definitely could use it. As far as my personal recommendation, honestly, I think that anyone who wants Funko Pops should pick this up. At the same time, though, I feel like if you want like a Godzilla 2000 chibi figure, this is definitely going to be like the best option. But if you want something that's like 6-inch or 7-inch scale, wait on Hayas. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys liked it, definitely leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone.